All right, let's try another one. Tenderloin has one of the highest densities of children in the city. If you were elected supervisor of district, how will you make the Tenderloin better for the thousands of children who live here? Well, Deborah just finished, so let's go to you, Chair.
First of all, I love the Safe Passages program that Elaine Zamora has helped to coordinate here in the district, where we're recruiting high school students, public high school students, to help walk our elementary school age kids from home to school, to after school programs, and creating maps for our kids and our parents that have stars on it, that these are the streets where there's safe havens, where merchants and community-based organizations have agreed to look out for kids, and where we encourage our police to patrol those streets more. We have a ton of families here. We need playgrounds and parks that are open. We need rec centers that are available for them, and staffing that will allow the kids to go there and actually play. I think that's actually one of the biggest issues here, is the lack of space for our kids here in the Tenderloin. We don't have the most number of kids. I've heard some other folks say that, but we do have the highest density of families here. We're also, I think that we should partner with our schools, with Tenderloin, Bessie, Reading, and Marshall, which really serve a lot of the kids here in the neighborhood, to make sure that they're getting the adequate services that they need. One example at Tenderloin is that we actually provide free dental care to every kid that goes to Tenderloin Elementary School. That's a huge need here in the district. We were able to partner with folks that want to contribute and give back, and they do that service for our kids free of charge. I also want to guarantee summer school for all the kids here in District 6. It is one of the best ways to help close our achievement gap and help make sure that our kids are reaching standards which allow our kids to graduate and become engaged members of our community. Thank you.
Oh, folks, you're too easy on us. These are softball questions. What will you do for the children? Wonderful things, you know. I'm all for the children. What have you done for the children? What have you done for the children in the Tenderloin or in District 6? That's a much better question. Remember when children in the Tenderloin were bused over to Treasure Island to go to school? I was part of the group of people that fought to get the Tenderloin school built. Do you remember in south of Market when kids went to the old Bessie Carmichael School, which was just a little cluster of World War II Army barracks, and you could watch the rats run around outside during broad daylight hours? I helped get New Bessie built. Do you remember the lack of open space? I helped get Victoria Manala's Draves Park built. You know, on and on. What have you done for the children in this district is a much better question.
Thank you.
And you should ask that of all of the candidates sitting up here.
Thank you.
I would continue to do to promote and support the safety programs that we've begun in the Tenderloin. I would also like to support the fact that we are trying to move towards a way of perhaps closing and creating open space at Jones Street between Golden Gate and McAllister, where we hold an annual Santa Sightings, which is a Santa event for the children and the families in the neighborhood. So every year they have the opportunity to have a street that's taken back and it's just used for the families. So I will continue to promote those kinds of safety and open space projects for children in the neighborhood.
Well, the Tenderloin, of course, is a gateway for families coming to San Francisco. There are a lot of low-income families who move to San Francisco, and the place that they move is the Tenderloin. A lot of the kids are from Central America or Southeast Asia, and this is the place where they end up. Now, the reason I propose arresting drug dealers is not because I want to arrest drug dealers. The reason is for the kids who live here. And through no fault of their own, these kids have to walk out of their house every morning and go to school and pass needles on the street. Now, and they see people shooting up. I mean, you've seen people shooting up, I've seen people shooting up. That's not acceptable. And what drives me insane is that the fact the city would never let that kind of thing happen in, say, Pacific Heights. They would never let the kids in Pacific Heights be subjected to open drug dealing on the street. that would be shut down immediately. And I don't think it's okay that low-income families, families of color, have to deal with this outside their front stoops and their front doors, whereas the wealthier communities don't have to deal with these problems. And the solution is not to involve the drug dealing at Pacific Heights. The solution is to say that people can live here and be here safely, and there's no reason that we should condemn the kids who happen to be born to poor parents to living on the situation on the street, which should be unacceptable to San Francisco and which hasn't been for many years.
How many people here in the audience actually live in this building? Could you raise your hands, please? Thank you. Thank you very much. So you know what it is to live in this neighborhood. You know, I've lived here in the Tenderloin, oh my God, 10 years now. I live right down on Turk and Leavenworth. There is no open space. The only way that you're going to really be able to create some open space is to actually clean out a city block, and that could take up to 20 years. We do have an opportunity to build or to have some open space up where the Jack Tar Hotel is. You know, if we can find a way to get rid of that CPMC hospital. It may not be a popular answer, but you know what? At least we'll have a place that we could build perhaps some affordable housing and have some open space. And again, the question was about children in the neighborhood. I certainly wouldn't cut after-school funding. I certainly wouldn't do anything like that. I would make sure that we had more after-school services for children and places for those children to go. You know, again, we live in a very densely populated city. It's only, 49 square miles, and you can't go out. You can only go up. And I don't even know if it's really a smart idea to go up. So we need to make use of the space that we have and use that space wisely and make sure that we're using it for people. Thank you.
This district actually has less open space than any other district in the city. If you look at the map and see where parks are located, you'll see that pretty dramatically. And we need to, as development happens along the waterfront, we need to negotiate with the developers for them to mitigate by providing funding for open space, funding for childcare, which is really needed in this area for the kids that are growing up here. We need to support projects like the Tenderloin Community School. The Kroc Center has some really nice after-school programs with organizations in this district. The areas around Bodecker Park, I mean, the comment you mentioned, Jim, about putting windows in the police station is very funny, because we have that park, and we build parks in the Tenderloin. We put fences around them and lock them. We actually lay off program directors who actually could program and create activities for kids and keep the parks open. So we need to prioritize that. It's going to be challenging because all of these require money. So ideas are a dime a dozen. We actually need someone like myself who's had experience on a commission, balancing the budget every year, year after year, and we do it by making sure that we get enough out of development to mitigate the effect and to provide the funding for this. I'm the person who's been doing that over the last decades, and I will do it as your supervisor.
Thank you. I'd just like to say again, this is politics in San Francisco. Small rooms, small groups getting together and talking over the issues.